Huzzah, I am Monk, your host. Welcome to PIDCAST, episode 24. Say hello to my co-host and fantasy queen, Fattori.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here.
And the guy who still hasn't added me to his top 8 on MySpace, Matt.
Okay, but that's not my fault. It's kind of like scarcity mentality because you have to have Tom, the OG, and then I'm not going to not have 7 different Paddington accounts.
Maybe there's space now that he has to remove Djordje.
Well, Paddington dressed in and up the fucking PID shirt. Yeah. Djordje can still be in my top 8 anytime.
Oh, man, he's already going for it. We have a lot going on this week. We have a lot to discuss, and the departure of PID superstar Djordje Mihailović. We'll debrief our first 2 Leagues Cup games from this past week. We have a great interview for you with the brand new Rapids chief business operator, Haley Durmer. We'll chat fantasy and then move on to our 2 coming games this week. That's just so much to talk about. Shall we just jump into the big elephant in the room, though?
Yeah, well, I will say, while she is a smooth operator, Haley Durmer is the chief business officer. But I like where your head's at.
Smooth operator.
Yeah, let's
My ghostwriter.
let's dive in. For those of you that have been living under a rock, did anything happen this week?
We got rid of our best player and like 80% of our talent. No, sorry, no, not that much. But Djordje's he's gone. I don't know if it's actually official yet. Last I heard, it hadn't been officially made official, but he's going to Toronto.
It is not official. Paperwork, I believe, still needs to be completed. There is a process to this, even if Tom Bogert goes ahead and preps the community with it a few days early. But for those of you that haven't heard, Djordje Mihailović will now be upping the fucking Drakes. What's Toronto's moniker? It's just Toronto Football Club. Do they have a mascot?
No.
See, it couldn't be us. They've got nothing to up. Just
Sad
6. But from
It's actually universal health care and freedom that they chant these days. It's wild.
Oh, he's actually going to chant up the fucking cash I just made.
yeah,
He actually pays other people to chant now.
first goal celebration should just be holding the bag. No, but I think it's pretty clear at this point that Djordje Mihailović is getting himself a pretty hefty raise. To which I want to say, good for you, Djordje. Get the bag. Make that money. I'm just going to say, any of you guys watching his pockets, you would do the same thing. If Vancouver wanted to hand me the bag or any cash to come podcast for them, I'm gone in a heartbeat, guys. If I can take a boat to work and get paid for it, done.
Yeah, let's be clear. Anyone who comes at any of us with 7-figure offers, even low 7-figure offers.
3-figure offers.
Any offer, I'll take anybody right now. This podcast is barely affording the yacht right now.
Yeah.
We're not talking yacht money, buoy money. We'll take buoy money.
I just want unlimited Bang energy drinks and Nerds gummy clusters. I'm a cheap date.
Is Matt a prairie dog? We don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I am a god.
He's actually
we
stacked
can't
of prairie
quirk on me
dogs
anymore.
in a human suit.
Oh, like the BoJack kid? Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
You'll never know.
First off, rough time to go to Toronto, but also maybe a rough time to be a Rapid. I don't know. They haven't been seeing a lot of results. They were kind of a joke of the league, especially early on in the season. But also, you got to respect the play.
Yeah. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I know we lost a ton of skill, but we also just lost so much heart. So many of those games where we were struggling, Djordje was the one rallying the team, pulling the team forward, hustling his ass off on the field. So it's I'm curious to see what the energy and momentum on the team's going to be with that huge hole.
Yeah, I think a silver lining is everything you just said is true, Sarah, and someone paid him the bag because they saw that. And so what I hope is that with the closeness and the way that the players talk, that message gets vested to other players. Like Colorado is a place where you can come and shine. And if you want to stay and make your life here, stay and make your life here. If you want to go get the bag, go on to Europe, they will help you. They won't be a detriment to your career path. And I think that's a really marketable thing in any employer. I mean,
but not a sports team.
We're a great stepping stone to real
That's the
sports
problem.
teams.
That's terrible for a sports team that's trying to be a perennial playoff team. If you're rotating players every 2 to 3 years, it's just like there's no way to build that foundation.
2 to 3 years isn't even like the time that college teams get players. That's
yeah,
like
but I mean,
half a college career.
what sports team isn't rotating their players every 2 to 3 years?
But they're not rotating their all-star players every 2 to 3
No,
years.
no, I get it. Like, you're speaking with feelings. Now come at me with some facts. What team in our league isn't rotating their players every 2-3 years?
How long's Messi been around?
Okay.
Trying to remember.
Apparently,
that.
and he's going to be here until
LAFC
2028.
has kept some of their all-stars for a bit, if I remember correctly. Galaxy kept theirs for ever. Like,
I think that's actually a fair point. If I look at like a lot of the 10s in the leagues, they're new or new to their team within the last 3 to 4 years. But Djordje could have been better. He could have been different.
Yeah, this
He could have been true
this
to his
should have been
school.
different.
We deserved better. I thought we had something, Djordje.
Djordje should have gotten paid less. We should have tanked the roster to meet an absurd number that TFC put up. And all of these variables should have coalesced because I feel like it.
okay, so tanking the roster is, I don't know if that's true, right?
No, we only do that for Steph, to be
Kroenke-
clear.
Kroenke could have thrown a bag of money without tanking our roster. He could have thrown a bag of money. That's what Toronto's doing, is throwing a bag of money that is being invested by their ownership. A big portion of that, right? So we could have paid him and still built our roster. Kroenke has chosen to keep that budget small and not do that, which is why we continue to see players, I think, chase those bags or chase those dreams elsewhere and use this as a stepping stone because they don't see an opportunity here to either win trophies or make big money. Right? Toronto isn't really on par for winning big trophies, but they spend big money. So you're getting a bag if you go to Toronto. You might not win a trophy though, but like we aren't offering either of those
And
things.
healthcare. We're forgetting
and healthcare.
about healthcare.
Which, I mean, Djordje's got, what, a 1-year-old kid? Like, healthcare is huge.
Healthcare.
He's like $8 million, but the $2,000 I was gonna pay in healthcare premiums.
Oh my gosh, what if that's actual like dad math like in sports? You're like, well, I just had a kid. I could stay in the US because you know some athletes choose their team destinations based on the tax rates. But like a kid, like you really need healthcare for a kid.
And public schools that teach science. I don't know, guys. Actually, if you could tell Robin Fraser that I am looking for a big move.
I hate to tell Fattori this, but a lot of sports players don't make their decisions based on the school district and their health care. They're competitive people.
I have heard on good authority that a lot of the Rapid players, maybe including one Drew Moore, choose to live in the community of Central Park because of how amazing the pools are.
And they
Have you guys been to the Central Park pools? They're all airport themed. They're amazing. Highly recommend.
But anyways,
Are we sure that he didn't go to Toronto for the altitude? What's the altitude in Toronto, everybody?
Oh no, Sarah's gonna learn about sea level again.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to outdrink all of his new teammates.
What? I mean, there's
saying.
like Serbian heritage too, like maybe. Yeah.
The real question I think we all are asking is, with Robin Fraser and now Djordje Mihailović, is Toronto FC the new Rapids? I don't know.
Are they trying to steal that from, who was it? Who was Perea
And they've had a trash season. Very Rapids of them.
Hey, we haven't had a trash season. But didn't Austin do the same thing from our bad season? They were like, hey, we saw how abysmal the Rapids attack was. Let's just get the whole thing.
Well, I feel like Austin, as the shallow hipsters, we're going entirely off of hairstyle. And if you're going to steal two people for hairstyle, it's Zardes and Rubio.
Yeah, that's fair.
An incredible duo.
Matt, I hate to tell you, but the not trash season you're talking about, aren't we like 6-11, 8-11? So we're not in the positives across the board at all.
We are in 9th place with, I believe, 9 games left. A good contingent of which are at or below our level. And this is a team that's shown you can never count them out of any match.
Do you remember that when
We
George
could
was
still make the
playing for
playoffs.
us? Steve, did you forget we just gave up our number 10, who combined
Guys.
with Navarro has had as a duo, had the most goal contributions of any duo in Rapids history, including above Connor Casey and Omar Cummings. And we just got rid of half of that. Or
I'm
more,
going
'cause
hope
I'd
springs
actually argue
eternal.
Djordje was probably a little bit more of a contributor.
I think that I love Matt's hope. I wish that we would have won all the games that we should have won while we had Djordje, and we could be sitting a little happier above the line and have a little more give for these last games.
Yeah, but what fun is that?
But what fun is that?
Oh, yeah,
God, what
I'm sorry.
would we have to
I
talk
forgot.
about if we were like,
Draws are fun
Vancouver?
for Sara.
Yeah, the 1-1 draws that are super exciting.
Yeah.
it must be really boring to be a San Diego podcast right now. What do they have to talk about? Winning? Making the playoffs?
The flow. They talk about the flow. They get an episode every week of the year trying to define what that is. No, but I think so with Djordje, it's very clear the team was not looking to sell Djordje. So much so the team rejected offers to buy Djordje. But when it came to the point that Djordje asked for this move to be facilitated, the team didn't stand in his way, and the team made sure that they got a surplus of value out of this. This was not a planned decision. This is obviously not anyone's ideal timing, move, anything. It very much feels like a gut punch, but I think bad things are going to happen to you in any realm of life. And if you become the person, the fan, the team that then just expects bad things to happen to you, or you become the person, the fan, the team that pulls yourself up by your bootstraps and gets back on the pitch and tries to get 3 points, that's worth rooting for. And I think from every impression I've gotten within the front office, that's this team's identity. They loved Djordje. They defended Djordje. They are happy for Djordje. And the team is now going to use the money that they got from the Djordje transfer to bring in more Djordjes. And no, I don't think we're going to do that Moneyball, replace Djordje on aggregate thing that everyone's been talking about online. I think this team has a Rolodex of players. We've talked about the longevity with which they scout people. That was true with Djordje as much as it was with Moise Bombito. And so there are options that this team can bring in and will bring in, and I'm going to choose to remain positive on this one. I got to talk to Chris, I got to talk to Reggie, I got to talk to Gabby and Combs, and I got to talk to Porig. And this is a team that's not tucking their tail and saying, oh, Djordje left, like, it's over. This is a team that has people ready, willing to step up. We've got Cole Bassett's, we've got KDP's, we've got a whole roster of guys that want to prove that they can be the guy, and now they're going to get their chance.
Okay, so love the positive spin. I'm always going to be a supporter of it, right? I'm always going to hope. I'm always going to predict wins. I'm always going to hope the next guy steps up. But this is a cyclical thing we're seeing again, of a rebuild on top of a rebuild on top of a rebuild. And I know they didn't plan on this, and that really sucks. And we got a decent bag of money, hopefully, out of this. But I got to see that investment, and as much as I want, I get the mindset of like, let's distribute it amongst our positions. I think we need to spend a good chunk of that money on a person. We need a playmaker. That's what Milo was. Djordje was a playmaker. He brought this team together. He was a talent that you could lean on when your team was down. And that kind of talent costs money. And so we need to bring in a player that's going to win those games that are going to be a draw, or bring those losses up to a draw, or just be able to put that shot in when you need it to go in from 20, 30 yards out. And that's something that like even like Navajo hasn't been able to really do, or Cole Bassett, or any of these players hasn't been able to show that they can consistently play under that pressure when we need it. And that's what Djordje did. And so we need somebody to be able to step up and do that. And none of our players have really proven to do that. And so, like, as much as distributing the money out a little bit isn't a bad idea, I still think that we need to put a good chunk of that money into bringing in a star player. It doesn't have to be a Messi level contract, right? But just somebody like Djordje. We need somebody on that level of talent. And I don't think that's going to come cheap.
Sarah?
No, you go first.
I agree completely. Let's say we've got $7 million to work with coming out of this Djordje transfer, to just kind of ballpark as our range for reinforcements. How much do you want to spend on a like for like, just get another 10? How much would you dole out for, let's get, like a 10 and a 7? Like, what's your breakdown here?
So outside of the Djordje money, because I saw someone post their guesstimate-ish that we have made $17 million in the last year off of selling players. So investing that level of money, you could put $9 million in a 10 and divide out the other millions on the other spots, right? Because I think at that level, you could bring in a good 10, a solid 10. It wouldn't be messy, but you could bring in a Djordje level 10 for that
Honestly,
amount
like,
of money.
could we just get like one of Messi's legs? Or like his brain put on a different player for that amount?
Have we tried just putting a Messi jersey on someone? Is that how that works?
That's exactly how
Because I see guys in soccer wear Messi jerseys all the time and then try to play like him, and it doesn't work.
Well, if you can ask the prairie dogs how that works. But
Wait,
joking.
Sarah.
No, hold on.
big
I know.
hawk?
Hold on. So stop joking. It's time for us to get serious, which is that apparently Toronto's mascot is a giant hawk named Bitchy the Hawk. I am not kidding right now. And not so they
Bitchy.
they got this hawk to chase away the seagulls from the stadium. There was like an actual hawk. But more importantly, they then this year put a giant statue of this hawk with bright red eyes at the training center. So they are trying to be the Rapids, and we must send Blucifer to avenge us, because this is clearly a knockoff Blucifer with a giant statue with bright red eyes that's like menacing.
Send Blucifer. No, you are off your rocker. We're sending Rapid Man.
Yeah.
Blucifer and Rapid Man.
Rapid Man
and Blucifer.
and Bitchy the Hawk fight, and the winner gets Djordje.
Well, you've heard it here first. We are declaring war on Toronto, specifically Bitchy the Hawk, for our man Djordje.
Yeah, birds aren't even real.
Birds are the bourgeois, right?
Yeah.
Also,
I don't know. Go ahead.
Everyone needs to. I'm sure Matt will put this on our socials. You have to just Google this hawk and look at this statue.
Oh, I'm
It's
going to put this in the
wild.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be in the video episode. So if you're listening, jump on the YouTube or open the Spotify video aspect and check out Bitchy the Hawk. Look, Robin looks so happy standing in front of this hawk.
He got it. He tried to get his own Lucifer. It will never work.
I don't know. Robin kind of gives off vibes of like the person who maybe like pissed off a crow when he was a kid, and then like a whole lineage of crows have been terrorizing him for the rest of his days.
I hear you.
I'm
And try
going too
as
far
I
into
may.
fan fiction.
I just cannot say anything bad about the man. I
Man.
liked him, man.
So I think there are two silver linings here. Djordje is going to make great money, which again, we stan a rich king. And we've now found out that Toronto has a mascot, let alone this evil, metallic, bitchy bird.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call it a day, guys. No, but on the Djordje move, I do want to harp on this, that this is a move that is good for a player. The players are happy for that player. This is not a toxic locker room situation. I asked Chris about that. I asked Reggie. It sucked to ask him. I apologize for asking that question. And I cannot tell you how vehemently they shot down the idea that Djordje was not a wonderful teammate or that there is anything going on in the locker room. And I'm not saying just like PR speak or, you know, just sheltering issues from the public eye. These were two dudes that looked me in the eye, and that's just an unfathomable proposition to them. So we can nip that rumor in the bud. Second, the team was not looking to sell Djordje Mihailović. We can nip that rumor in the bud. Third, the team did not look at the rest of the schedule and decide that this is a washed season and try to start stripping it for parts for next year. That rumor is done. And then finally, that the team is going to squander this money. I understand that reflex from a lot of the people talking about this, but I think if you give them if you give the players that they bring in the time and the belief, you're going to get your next Djordje Mihailović. You're going to find your next Reggie Cannon. You're going to find humans that you believe in, jerseys you want to buy, people you want to show up for on a stormy Saturday night and root for. And I know that it sucks to lose someone, that rosters churn and that these windows can be cyclical, but that's the nature of the sport, and that's the nature of all sports. And I think it's a large aspect of what I love about this game. Sure, I can't root for Djordje on Thursday, but you got to be damn sure I'm going to be sighted in on KDP's every move, because now we get to see him get more room to shine.
So
And I think
agree
it's an
with-
important. No, go ahead, Monk.
I agree with all of your parts. The last one is a little bit harder to swallow because we have seemed to squander money. But outside of that, if we're going to find another Djordje, how are we going to keep another Djordje? Djordje finally starts really producing over the last year, and he took a little bit to get his feet wet, and then he's gone. Like, if we can't get to the point where we're going to keep a player for the whole season so that we can actually make that playoff run, like, I'm not saying we throw away this season, but it's going to be hard without him there, because I think it's going to be hard to find somebody in a month, right? Like, this wasn't a planned thing. It's not like we already had our backup ready and we were selling a guy prepared to sell him. Like, this is a guy we were expecting to be here for a couple more years. And so that's just a huge hole to try and fill. And as much as I have faith in Cole and KDP, like, that is just like a huge expectation to put on them. Just a huge, huge expectation to put on them that is unfair to put on them. And they could step up and do it, but it's still unfair to expect that out of those players, honestly. And so I want to know what we're going to do so that next time we aren't bit by this mid-season where we lose a player, because I still thought we had a good chance in these playoffs. We might squeak in, but I thought we catch our momentum late season. We've got Djordje there starting to score a bunch of goals with Navajo, and we do it. And now I'm like, we saw the last league's game, right? The huge difference of Djordje not being on that field was apparent in that game.
I think my last thought here is that these moments are reminders that these are real people. Like, we use a lot of language like buy, sell, strip for parts, as if like they're commodities. But like at the end of the day, these are players whose labor have value and who are doing the best by themselves. And this is a job for them. So as much as we love the fucking PIDs, like, you have to respect players who are trying to make the money, especially when we know like the long history of sports stars who are able to make a lot of money in their youth, but then like aren't as they get older. And so, good for Djordje, and good for any worker who's able to get some money.
Oh yeah, I have no ill will against Djordje. He did what anybody would do. Honestly, like he did what was best for him. I think it's what's best for his career. The sad part for me is that the Rapids aren't that, and that's my problem. Is my team is not that.
Yeah, that hurts. But it happens to every team. LAFC lost Mateus Bogusz, and they're one of these big spending clubs that the fan base would have us aspire to be after. Cruz Azul, the team we're playing on Thursday, they came in, they dropped the bag. LA couldn't keep Bogusz. Like, this is the reality of sports, whether it's going to be a team willing to overpay in your own league or a team in a higher prestige league swooping in. These are the realities, and that's why these rosters go beyond the 11 men that start a match.
When do we get to be the people with the bag that steals the person, though? That's what I want. The moment
did we just get
that
broken up with? Did we just get dumped?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
For someone else?
Yeah, it's not us though. It's not us. Toronto rolled up in those extra Lamborghinis that they got in the divorce between Insigne and Bernadeschi, and they were blasting some Drake and like, look, girl, Djordje did have to turn his head, like.
And we're like, but Djordje, the Subaru's all-wheel drive.
Yeah, but it's kind of our fault too, because we got him fully hooked on that really expensive fly fishing habit. So now he's got to make more money to chase that fly fishing dragon. Like, it's a cycle.
Those flies are bespoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have better fly fishing up there. That's really what it was.
In Toronto?
Yeah. It's
Do you
that
think
higher altitude, right?
Do you think
Tell us what the
Djordje?
altitude difference is.
Do you think Djordje is a member of the Wigwam Club?
Don't know what that is.
Are you guys familiar with this? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Platte River down by the South Platte down by Deckers has some of the world's best fly fishing, right? Mm-hmm. And the water rights there like predate modern U.S. water law. So there is a elite fly fishing club that is member only, that like it's been leaked that like several Supreme Court justices, like top echelon celebrities are members there, and it's the way that they own their water rights, you can't even like float through it on the water, so it's like very like they have like fancy chef catering, very like you can drive past it and there's a big sign that's like members only Wigwam Club.
Matt's
here
probably
off
actually
of,
a
like,
member. He just lied to us.
He's like,
No.
I've never heard of this
I know.
thing.
Who are those guys?
So,
No.
new question. If we see Djordje coming back to Colorado occasionally, I bet he's a member of the Wigwam Club.
Guys, you make a lot of fun of me for like the allegedly white activities I do, but I'd like to go on record as saying I'm a rainbow thong flip-flop guy, not a Chaco strap sandal guy. Like, I'm at the beach with a surfboard and a volleyball. You can leave the wigwams and the fly fishing to the elite out here.
That's why he lives in Colorado for that surfing.
No, yeah.
Well, I think it's probably time for us to move on. not
Oh,
from
I have
Djordje
one
and
last
our-
bit of hopium. One last
Okay.
bit of hopium.
Damn it.
So Djordje, our fly fishing king, you know what he does? He loves to wear cowboy hats, right? Do you know what other beloved KSE sports team player loved to wear cowboy hats, went to chase the bag at a kind of, I don't know, side-eyed move, and is now back in the family in a black rainbow Nuggets City jersey? That's Bruce Brown. Who knows? Maybe we see Djordje down the road. He gets his bag. He comes back home. He's got all that money to invest in his fly fishing gear. And because we've got the Wigwam Club, right?
Yeah,
Toronto
doesn't have a Wigwam Club.
So Djordje's only making this move now to be able to afford the Wigwam Club later. And healthcare.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm going to transition us, and I want to apologize to our listeners. I do have to leave the episode at this point, so I'm leaving you in the good but chaotic hands of Matt and Monk for the rest of the episode. But first, I'm going to kick us off on this past week's League Cup recap. So just a reminder that we took a break from regular MLS play this past week to play 2 different rounds of Leagues Cup, both at home at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. The first was against Santos and the second one against Tijuana. Rapids played Santos this last Thursday, and we won that game 2-1 with Hoffa scoring twice in the second half. Unfortunately, the second game against Tijuana ended up with the inverse score. That was this past Saturday, and the score ended 1-2 with a Rapid loss. While, of course, there's a lot of things that can still fall, a lot of people are predicting that with that Tijuana loss and with how other games have pulled through, that is likely the end of the Rapids run for Leagues Cup.
Bye, Sarah. Have fun at your
Womp womp.
Division One women's rugby match. Practice.
Yeah, happy first day of rugby practice, everybody. And
Shout out Black Ice Rugby.
Exactly. And I'm excited to hear the rest of this episode along with our listeners. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sarah. All right, Monk. No parents, no rules. We can say whatever we want.
All
now.
right. Gloves are off. These games were a tale of no Djordje and Djordje, in my opinion. I think you just that's a big difference for us. I will give Matt some credit. He was so close on that scoreline. He predicted a 3-1 with Navajo scoring 2. So they needed one more goal, and he would have had the scoreline correct. And I think the goal scorers, I don't know who his third goal scorer was because I didn't look back that far, but I know he picked 3-1 with Navajo at 2. It was a good game.
See, when keeping the faith goes right.
When keeping the faith goes right. The second one, I don't know. It was hard. It's our first loss to a Liga team in Leagues Cup, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, we had beat 5 straight going back to last year. So number 6 was the hump we couldn't get over.
That was just.
I think I will go on the record and say I love Leagues Cup. This is one of my favorite points of the season. I love when we play the Liga MX teams. I love their play styles. I love the fan bases that get represented and activated during these games. I think it's some of the best atmosphere at the Dick all season long. And I felt like this Leagues Cup double feature was like your classic trip to Mexico, right? Like first day, you become friends with all the locals, you're drinking all the margaritas, everyone's partying, having a good time. You know, there might be some bumps, but at the end of the day, like you're still so stoked to be here. Second day, you might have drank the water, you're a little hungover, you're feeling a little queasy. The locals no longer like you so much because you were a little out of pocket last time. And they put up their big guys in front of the bar so you can't go in anymore. And that's kind of what Tijuana did with I just love this Sharpie quote, big group of boys, is just put them all in front of the goal and tell us that the bar was closed.
Yeah, it was that second game, and there was still hope, right? It was we still had we had our goal, and we still had 20 minutes left, including extra time, to maybe put in that second one and get that draw. But it just wasn't in us. They scored on themselves, so technically the Rapids did not score a goal. We didn't have a goal scorer. So
that's forcing the coincidences. And I think we can all agree own goal is a player we all want on our team.
Oh, we do. His name was Sam Vines like 2 games ago.
Boo. I don't even think that's true. I think you were trying to score some points on a dig and you didn't even get the facts right. Negative points, Monk.
It might have been more than 2 games ago.
We're gonna go like what is it, around the horn style, where I just have a button where I can decrease the points in the lower right corner of your video window.
Oh, come on! I don't use facts. I'm an average listener.
Be better listeners. Be better fans. Be the people you want your team to be.
But look at this. Only 4 shots on target. And we had 63% possession in that game. Comparatively, we had 45% possession and had 7 shots on target. A little bit more with less possession. And it's just, I don't know. Whenever we possess, we seem to not do very well, but I don't know. I honestly, watching the games, you could tell the playmaking from that midfield was just not quite as good, right? I think we have a better shot. I think we win that game with Djordje. It's nothing against Cole, but he's not him or KDP. I think KDP was actually playing the 10. But like just not that mesh that him and Navajo had built up, I think was just so good. So I think that we are out of Leagues Cup. We have to have a lot of luck to make it into 4th place right now. That's not just a win. We'd have to win by multiple goals and have the 6 teams above us all not win, I think, or even draw.
Yeah, totally. So let's go out and have a seance with the Prairie Gods tonight. I think we can do this. We just got to listen to them and remember Nerds, Gummy Clusters, and Cold Hard Cash. I do want to unpack a couple things you said. Cole was the 2nd highest rated person on our team on FOTMob. Like, dude's got no quit in him. I don't think it matters to Cole who the other 10 guys on the field are. He's still going to try and fight the entire other team just by himself. And KDP runs with the ball like he's trying to fight the entire team by himself. And the possession stat is misleading. We generally don't do well in possession just because we do thrive on that transition and kind of letting the other teams play into our strengths and traps. But I think in this game in particular, the possession is super high because Tijuana literally just parked their big boys as a bus in front of the goal and just dared us to try and kick it through the wall. And because they were big boys, kicking it through the wall proved really hard. We talked to Chris after the game, and he was like, we realized that they were just stacking the box. They were parking the bus, doing a low block, daring us to break through it. So we switched up and tried to get more width into the game. And I think that's when we started to see a lot more success. So even if we didn't get the win, we saw the Rapids adapt to a challenge and make Tijuana uncomfortable and make the fans excited for the last 20 plus minutes of that game. That's two in a row. We came back from 1 down against Santos to win 2-1. And we came back from 2-0. Even if it was an own goal, it was a goal that we were trying to put in ourselves. But we made a game out of this. We didn't back down. The Santos game, though, I think from an entertainment standpoint, Santos played out more and didn't just park the bus. So that was by far a much more exciting, neutral watching experience because you got to see lots of these kind of like offensive volleys back and forth, goal to goal, each team taking their swings and then falling back, taking their swings, falling back. This is one of my favorite games that I've seen all season, from just every aspect of the game experience down to the result.
So I want you to look at the lineups on Thought Mob between these two games and see how much increase in the players you get when Djordje is next to them. So he's all green around him, outside of Cannon, a little bit back. And then our greens kind of spread out a little bit more when he's not in there. Now it's a different lineup, right? They're playing a 4-3-2-1 versus a 4-2-3-1. But, like, he just brought up the players around him. Especially, like, KDP. He in the green in that game, comparatively. I think that's the type of talent and players we want. And we're recruiting. So got to give credit there. Recruiting that kind of a player that brings up the talent around him, like, that's what you want. That's very important.
No one is going to argue that Djordje isn't a force multiplier. It's both, I would argue, by his personality, but his play style. He is one of the most creative, and I mean like creating chances, tens in MLS. You can go through all of his statistical profiles, his like-for-like comparisons. The dude creates opportunities both for himself, but for other players to shine. And that I'm not detracting from the fact that he will be sorely missed, and that it will require the players to find it in themselves to raise their individual performances, to create for themselves and each other in lieu of what Djordje was doing for them. What I was pushing back on earlier is that in the same breath that you decry a team for losing a player like Djordje, you're forgetting that they brought in a player like Djordje. And if we're just going to be negative about hit rates, the stats don't really stand up to kind of the echo chamber shouting down the team.
Oh, I completely agree. I know I'm usually the person on the cast that's bringing up the trolls because I read a lot of it, and I just think it's good to have a good, healthy discussion. At the end of the day, I think that we can find that talent. I don't know if we can find it in a month. And so that's my scary, which means that we have to have players like KDP and Cole both step up, like, significantly to fill that gap for us. And what I want is for us to actually be able to, like, keep that. I want us to get a point where we're not rebuilding every 2 to 3 years. Like, essentially,
okay,
we need to bring in and keep some talent so that we have a core to build on.
I am a Carolina Panthers NFL fan, and Rapids fans throwing out the R word, rebuild, like candy is wild. You want to talk about rebuilds? I'll show you rebuilds. This is one player. This is a restock. This is a positional opportunity. This is not a rebuild. This isn't the 21 to 23. That was a rebuild. Like, that's fine.
Okay, so if you add in, who was it? Cheeto's gone. Cabral.
Yeah,
which again, Cabral was arguably a flop in most people's eyes. And now you're losing Djordje. Like, that's 3 players, 2 of which I would argue were pretty big in what we are considered over our next couple of years.
No, you can't. No. Citing Cabral as pointing to a rebuild is intellectually dishonest.
So you ignored the Cheeto comment? Okay. Cool.
No, I'm going to get to that because you're probably going to not like my take on that one either. Citing Cabral as pointing to a rebuild is intellectually dishonest, especially since so many people were calling for Cabral to get off of this roster.
Oh, great.
Cabral had the talent. Cabral could have hit. Circumstances stacked against him. You can color that in whichever way is going to, like, make your pillow cooler at the end of the night. But Kevin didn't work out. I still, to this day, do not think that was a bad shout to bring Kevin in to try to harness that potential. That was, I think, if we're going to go the distressed assets FC route, I think that was a fair bet to take, and one that almost looked like it was going to go gangbusters last year until the broken elbow happened. So now we've moved on from Kevin. That's a net positive, right? That's what everyone wanted. That's a good thing.
But
Okay, so you can't.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it's a net positive. I'm gonna say that, like, yes, technically in the month, nobody wanted him here. He wasn't really performing up to his salary. I think that's just statistically true. He was not performing up to his salary this season. But you bought a player and then he did a DP at that level and he didn't perform, and that's fine. Like, it happens. It just happens consistently with us on most of our DPs, essentially.
Happens consistently with every team. We can't. We are like, if the Rapids are distressed assets FC, we are jilted lovers SG. Like, there is no amount of copium that can make all of these ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends in the fan base like rational when it comes to.
Just tell me, what's a DP that has performed up to their salary point that the Rapids have brought in?
Djordje Mihailović.
And now he's gone
Boom.
after 2 years.
Yeah, he performed up and then he got the bag.
Contract, right?
I would argue that means he performed beyond expectation, so much so that a team was willing to overpay and swoop him off his feet.
But we're not going to go buy another one. We're going to go try and find another diamond in the rough, because that tends to be our strategy, right? We're going to divide that money out and try throw it a bunch of diamonds in the rough and hope one of them pops off again. And that's just, we aren't making the playoffs and winning games in the playoffs in this strategy. When was the last playoff game we won?
But at least you can talk about playoffs. We're going to the playoffs, are we not?
Well, right now, technically, that is yet to be seen. I think it's going to be a hard fight for us right now. But making the playoffs shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be winning and making a run in the playoffs, and we don't do that. It's always we made the playoffs and then we dump out first game.
Yeah, but don't you want to be in the playoffs while you're trying to figure out how to get to that final goal? I mean, if it's binary, like scrap the team every season and try and rebuild a cup winner, or it's moving pieces around to figure out the recipe.
So every time we've made the playoffs, recollection, right? This is off of the top of my head. We then sell our players, right? The last time we made a playoffs, we sold off Cole and Sam, right? And then our team was essentially sold off two of our best players at the time. They were some of the best performers. And we didn't do anything the next year. Now, again, make the playoffs. And we've gotten rid of two players in Cheeto and Djordje that built that. Especially with Djordje. Djordje is just like, what do we every year we have to get rid of those players? Like, what point do we get to keep some of that core and start spending some of that money and stuff to build around that talent instead of trying to replace that talent every year? Because I think that's where the fan base's problem is that it's not like if Djordje had stuck around for 2 more years, we could have gone and bought another winger or kind of rated our defense a little bit that people are complaining about, right? And we're bringing in some of those players, right? I think Holding's coming in and a few others. And so we're starting to build that. But now it's like, okay, well, now we have another hole we have to fill on top of the other holes that we have to fill to make us a playoff contingent team, let alone a run team. And at what point do we get to be the team that's like, oh, we've kept our core after we made the playoffs and we're building off of that? And I think that's what people want to see. And so that's what we need. We need a team that makes the playoffs, and if we don't make a run, the next year we keep the core of that team, especially the most important player on that team, so that we can build around that. Because that's what we want. That's what we want. We're going to go, oh, man, Djordje. We're so excited for Djordje again for this playoff run. He's on a hot streak. Him and Navajo are starting to hook up. Let's bring in a couple of defenders to build up our defense, and let's go. But now we're like, well, we just brought in a bunch of defenders, but now our offense is just lost one of its, if not its most important piece.
I mean, I hear you. roster building is a perpetual motion machine, and there is a success penalty in trying to keep your core together. We saw that with LA Galaxy.
Who have, 5 stars?
What's that?
They have 5 stars.
I think 6 now.
6 now? They actually are running out of room. They're having to start to put them on the back. just, I'm sorry, but they were successful. Now, I think the Galaxy have now gotten to the point where, like, MLS 1.0 doesn't work anymore. So
We're in like 4.0 now.
Exactly. So they're unsuccessful now, but they were successful back then. I want us to find a way to play in 4.0, and I don't know if we're playing in 4.0. I don't know if Smith is doing it. I don't know if we're spending the money to be doing it.
That's a really interesting conversation, which I don't have the answer to. But that the dichotomy of spend versus success. So if we're looking at the variables to which we've most been talking about today, Toronto spends, does not have success. Minnesota doesn't spend as much, does have success. Vancouver doesn't spend as much, does have success. Vancouver, no one saw coming this year. And that's a team that put their team up for sale and could have just written off the entire season, and now they've caught fire. I mean, that feels like kind of a Rapids 2021 type vibe to me. But the idea that if we go out and spend $8 million on a pound-for-pound Djordje replacement, I mean, there are names we can throw around. Trust me, I spent all last night trying to put my best Porig Smith hat on and scout out any creative 10 around the world that's got some national team experience and is 26 or under. I think I came up with some really good names, which, I mean, Tony Fruk out in, I think it's Rivajic. Now this guy, we could spend 10 million on him. We could bring him in, and I guarantee he'd make everyone better. Do we have 10 million to spend? I don't know. Yes. Am I a scout? Probably not.
But yes, we do. Based on our calculations, we have somewhere between 10 and 17 million dollars of money we've brought in selling players. If you also include the factor that Cabral's off the books at the end of the season, somehow, right? Whatever it looks like, I don't know. They haven't actually explained what happened there in totality, but essentially, he's off the books at the end of the season, or somebody buys him and he's off of our books now. Right.
So I did get this explained to me because it is a really nebulous situation. And the instance that was brought up was Cleach with DC. So Cleach was a DP for DC who then went to Atlanta and now is waived by Atlanta. So DC is still stuck holding the DP roster designation until another team signs him, because MLS is a single entity business and payout. So someone has to hold that employment status until he is an employee of another entity. So even though he was waived by Atlanta as an employer, someone in the MLS system has to hold that DP tag, which I believe is what DC is doing until Cleach signs on somewhere else, which is what we are doing with Kevin Cabral. That until Kevin Cabral signs for another team, basically someone's got to hold the talking stick. And right now we're just kind of
we've chosen.
So that's it. That's an MLS thing. That's an MLS thing.
So we chose to part ways, but we have to keep it until somebody else takes him, or at the end of the season his contract is up, right? With us.
So he'll sign somewhere. That spot will open up. Our whole philosophy has been built to be a 2DP, 4U22 setup since that came about. So we've got one DP spot we can fill either this window or in the winter window. And that'll give us another U22 to bring in and then $2 million of GAM to play with. So we have money to spend. I believe we're going to spend it. The question I was going to ask you is, like, we could spend $10 million on Tony Fruke, this guy I looked up and watched YouTube videos and then read all the transfer windows about, who I think would genuinely be a fantastic player. And I think it would make all the players around him better. Or we could come in and see if we could get a Brian Gutierrez from Chicago, someone with MLS experience. We can probably get him far less, that 2 to 5 million range. I'm not going to speculate on numbers. And then we can get a winger or a six or a third striker, another fullback. Like, the comparative economics that we have available to us right now, I think we're going to use.
Like, it's, if you can replace, so my struggle, like buying two or three players, right? If you spend that, we'll just continue to the assumption that we had 17 million sitting in our pocket from sales of the last year of players. Just trusting some random Facebook
not a real number.
Information.
Not a real number.
We're just going
not a
off
real
of
number,
that number.
but it's
we're
real
just
enough
going
for
off
the
of an
internet.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you could see a
go
real
off of that.
spreadsheet and you'll know that's not a real number.
Not a real number. But like, we're just gonna go off of what Facebook's telling us, all right? We're gonna go off the Facebook facts. It's, if you get 3 players in that and you spend 8 million on one, or 8 to 10, let's say, on that 10, right? Because I think that 10 role is vitally important to us, right? That's your central player. That's why most teams spend a lot of money in that spot, right? It's just a very valuable player. And you split up the other, like, between $6 and $8 million between 2 players. That's still like a $4 million budget. That's still bringing in your 2 to 5 million guy that you were kind of talking about from Chicago, right? And that still brings us in what I would argue would be I'd hope a serviceable 10 at that amount of money, right? And so what I don't want to see is us go spend that on like 8 players and then be like, oh, well, we spent the money, and be like, well, we spent the money on 8 players, 4 of which are sitting on our bench, or sitting on Rapids 2, and not here, or whatever.
We couldn't buy 8 players if we wanted to, because then what would we do with all of Philadelphia's draft picks? There's a finite roster limit, Monk. No, I think we take this money, we take it on the chin. Sure, we lost Djordje Mihailović. That sucks. No one's going to argue that doesn't suck. But we were well compensated for it. Now let's get back to the iron and hammer out the rest of this season. I think it's probably going to be 1, maybe 2 people that can be instant impacts between this window and the winter window. I know that that's not the most ideal because I want it now. But I think we get, in Djordje's stead, we get a playmaker this window that maybe we weren't scheduled to or had the finances to get. This is in addition to the moves we were already going to make, because remember, we didn't know Djordje was going to go. So I think the transfer window was planned around not having that extra, we'll call it $7 million to spend. We get a playmaker that can fill a similar role, and maybe can be the next Djordje Mihailović. And who knows? We sell off in a few years for, again, success in their career and success on our budget line items.
So I think the people's biggest worry is this money not being reinvested. And Kroenke taking a payday out of a couple of $1 million that we just sold a player for, and then only invest part of that money back into this team. When, like, I think that is honestly, like, one of my biggest worries is just, hey, this money goes, because, like, we have Garber bucks all over the place. Like, there's just fake money all over the place in MLS. Like, the finances don't make any sense anywhere in this league. The people that study it don't understand it and have a trouble explaining it. That's how complicated the contracts and everything in this league are. And people worry that it goes, oh, we just got $17 million or whatever over the last year.
Okay, again, not a real number. Stop putting this number out in the ether.
And he gets $5 million of that or whatever.
This is we're being part of the problem, not part of the solution. Rapids have $26 million to spend. And I heard we've called Thiago Messi. Is he 13? Is he the 13-year-old one or like the 7-year-old
I'd take
one?
it. I'd take either one. Just build him up. Okay, so I am a person that would say, unless you can find some super good deal in the next month in short term for a 10, you just go with the team we have, and we take that extra money with Cabral dropping off at the books at the end of the season, and we go find those 3 or 4 players with that decent chest that we've got, and go build a team that's gonna go into next season. Because what I don't want is us rushing somebody in that's gonna be just mediocre or a huge gamble, and we put them on some like 2-year contract DP, and they end up Cabralling or Eignering out, right?
I hate your use of verbs here. No, I don't think the team will be desperate. I think the team views this as a 2-window solve, or at least a 2-window puzzle, to find the right pieces to fit together. I think we've got good guys on the roster. I reiterate that this gives Cole a chance to play in positions he likes and finds joy in playing more. I really think this gives KDP a lot more runway to take off as a Rapid. I think this gives us Chris, and then by extension Yappy and Hoffa, more flexibility to use that kind of like one up, one off dual striker, as opposed to just putting them at the top and then having Djordje underneath. We know the work that Hoffa can do kind of as a connector and as an upfield defender. And I think we've seen a couple games now, Yappy almost being like a shadow striker kind of deal. I think if we're looking for stopgaps, like we know the MLS journeyman, we know like the 30-year-olds we can sign. I think my hope is that we embrace the people on this team. We get Sydney with Thuda minutes, because I will stand on my soapbox all day for that kid. And that we find the next Djordje Mihailović, not that we try to replace him in aggregate, or that we just try to get someone with name recognition as a stopgap. Like, I mean, the names I told you, like, I think if there's any way we can pry Brian Gutierrez around or from Chicago. I know Chicago just brought in a DP that kind of overlaps positionally with Gutierrez. And so if he is going to struggle for exposure or minutes, this is a young kid trying to make his way on both the national team stage and in the world soccer market. Like, that's just a run through the wall win at the end of this transaction. I will point out, if we can get, do you remember the attacking mid played for Montreal, and when he was getting, I guess, acquainted and acclimated, like he wasn't getting much playing time. I don't know, maybe he was buried on the depth chart, but he signed up for a rec league under a false name.
Oh, I remember us talking about that.
And then punched a dude out. I think it's like Matej Majelnik. I've just butchered that pronunciation like I do all of them. So that guy got suspended and is down playing in, I believe, Brazilian Premier League, and he's killing it. He is a dog and a super creative midfielder. Let's go get him. I would so be down for a guy that's both coming to my pickup games and punching me in the face for acting out at my pickup games. He'd be my new favorite player.
I'm going to ask Matt to put his money where his mouth is, because guess what? Let's give it like 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and you could probably drop a little cash on the Rapids winning the MLS Cup. And the payout is going to be, like, anybody paying attention is going to think we're not making it. Like, unless we make some big signing. Like, if you gamble on this team right now, huge payout, with minimal investment, just like the Rapids is the hope. Huge payout with minimal investment.
I love this team. I love these players. I will back them 100%. Let's go win all the cups.
All right, we have a few games this week that we've got to talk about. Actually, Matt, first, give us an intro because we have something else we have to splice in here.
Yeah, before we move into more games, I do want to take you to one of the highlights of our week. We got the fantastic opportunity to talk to the Rapids' new Chief Business Officer, Haley Durmer. And I mean, I'll just preface, because you're about to watch and listen to this, if you're not fully on board with Haley after this interview, then I don't know how you as a person can get jazzed up. Like, you're probably dead inside. I love talking to her. I got to talk to her again at the stadium the other day, and I think this is a person and a personality, which you're about to hear, that is going to do wonders for the Rapids as an organization and as a member of the local community. So without further ado, here is new Chief Business Officer, Haley Durmer.
Well, hey, everybody. We are joined today by the new Chief Business Officer of the Colorado Rapids by way of Seattle Mariners and New York Yankees, and whom we hear is one hell of a swimmer, Haley Durmer. Haley, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Guys, I am so excited to be here. It's the first time I'm talking to fans. I'm pumped. I am the thankful one.
Yes. All right. Well, since you invoke fans, to start, help the fans get to know you. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm an East Coast girl. I grew up between Philly and Atlanta, so you'll hear y'all, but also a little tough spirit comes out. However, I'm kind of all over the place. So I went to school in Virginia, so a little bit north. I swam there, so I was a swimmer. I have like my little Olympic gold medals. Not Olympic gold medal, I did not win one, but my fake one right here.
We're not going to fact check you. You can say Olympic gold medals.
Yeah. So yeah, I did swim in college at University of Virginia. My whole family's swimmers. Speaking of my family, I actually am a Colorado. I have a lot of Colorado family here. So I live 5 minutes from my grandma and 10 minutes from my dad on the other side, which is really fun. So I have a lot of roots here and I love it here. But I've lived on the West Coast. I've lived all over. But yeah.
So just inside baseball, where are you doing your lap swimming these days? Are you heading to like Congress Park Pool? Where are the lanes?
I'm open. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be recruited. You know, like I'm still trying to find my way. I've been here for a month now. There are a few pools in Cherry Creek area that have pretty awesome setups that are outdoor and year-long outdoor, which is pretty fun. But I'm still trying to find my footing for swimming yet.
Well, since Gabby's listening in and since you're such an avid swimmer, we've been talking to Fern. We want to do a Rapids watch party at one of the local community pools before the season's up. So I think you're now our biggest advocate for that.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're going to say
if, like,
Fern
we can
Haley
get like Rapid specific inner tubes. Like we got to do that. That needs to happen.
Yeah. We just need to budget the dry cleaning bill for a wet Rapid Man suit because I don't know what that's going to be like.
I love it.
Well, super fun. How did you get into sports? Obviously, you shared a little bit about being a swimmer growing up, and what's been your career pathway within sports?
Yeah, so I grew up doing really elite swimming, big family of swimmers. All of my siblings competed in college. My mom started the Notre Dame women's program, varsity program. So lots of swimmers, lots of athletic genes, and I was in college at Virginia. I was in the business school at Virginia, and I was taking a lot of commerce classes, and I did internships in the real world for product marketing, and it was fun, but it wasn't as fun as the energy around sports. And I took a class that was an entertainment marketing class back forever ago before data and analytics was a track in school, which is ridiculous. But that's so wild. Dating myself a little bit. It's fine. But I took this class, and they did a whole segment on sports, like not sports marketing, not sports and entertainment, but just the business of sports. And a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, that is what I'm going to do. So in classic sales fashion, I got a list of everybody from my university who graduated from my program who worked in or around sports. So we're talking esports, we're talking FIFA, we're talking anybody and everyone I could talk to. I think it was a list of 100 people. And somehow I got connected with this wonderful man named Taylor Levine, who worked for the New York Yankees at the time, who invited me for an interview. I said no. Then I came up because It wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. But, sometimes in sports you take a job and you just grow from there. And that's really kind of been my pathway in sports in general. So I started with the New York Yankees and I climbed the ranks there and had amazing mentors and friends along the way. It's where I met my boyfriend. He's still with me. He followed me to Colorado. So that's great too. So all the people in sports, gotta love it. They become your family, which is totally the truth. So just climbed the ranks through the Yankees and just exposed myself to new things and always said yes to projects and wanted to learn more. And just there's this this very avid need for curiosity and knowledge and education. I think just that's permeated it throughout my entire career and chasing that knowledge and chasing how to be better. And that's kind of how I ended up at the Mariners. I really wanted to learn about marketing analytics. And so I took a role over there and I grew up through the marketing department and then pivoted back to strategy and analytics. And now I'm here because I wanted to learn how to run a team and it's going to be great. And I'm excited.
All right. So that's a great point to move to. Why soccer? Why now?
Why not? There's so much that's happening in soccer in America in the next 2 years. We have World Cup. We had Club World Cup this year. There are so many interleague competitions that are happening. We're celebrating a 30th anniversary next year of MLS, but then obviously as a founding member, us too. So what an opportunity to grow a fan base. But I think for why soccer, that question, I love it. There is so much of a difference between baseball and soccer. And I came from the baseball world, spent a lot of time in baseball, and it's America's pastime. It's the oldest tenured professional sport in America. And soccer is the least. And there's so much growth. And that's so fun because when you enter a league it's not in its maturity phase and it's still growing and it's still in its infancy, you can make a mark on it. And wow, to make a mark, if I could make a mark on an original founding club in MLS, that is the goal. That's what we want to do. And just also selfishly being connected to Colorado and now calling it my home, I really want to be able to make an impact on our community too, the community that I'm going to call home and that I've already started. I got my couch this weekend. It's been great. Finally making the house a home. So that's why.
Amazing. And, you suggested that there's a lot different between soccer and baseball, but there's also a lot in common is summer classics. Are there lessons that you think soccer can learn from the MLB and baseball generally at all levels?
I think there are lessons that every league can learn from every league. I would argue that there's a scrappiness to MLS that MLB could learn from a little bit, but there are definitely lessons just having it be an older sport and in its maturity phase as an industry that MLB can lend insight to MLS. And some of the areas that I think we're still working on at MLS are around just players in our domestic pool. Baseball does an amazing job at that right now, right? They've really invested in player development, and we at MLS need to do that to keep our best talent in the United States to then transfer and do interleague transfers as well. We need to really grow that area of the business from the soccer side of the business. And then I'd probably say from the functional side of the business, there's a lot to be learned in terms of creative marketing and experiential that can be learned from baseball because they got a lot of games, guys. They got a lot of games and a lot of seats. And so they gotta get a little weird when it comes to what they're doing. And that's something that's going to become our tagline. I want shirts. We're going to get a little weird because it's going to happen. And
Yes.
and we need that to happen. We need to get funky to make the experience a little bit more Colorado, to make it more fun, to make it more authentic. That is, I think, the lessons that MLS can learn from MLB for sure.
I think you're speaking Matt's love language. Matt loves the creative and the funky and the little outside the box.
Yeah. Love it.
Corny theater kid, campy. We're going to get a little bit weird. I'm in.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll bring the icebreakers to the next meeting.
Oh, man. Do you remember being in those pitch meetings, Sarah, when I was like, what if our capo stand was just a river raft? What? I mean...
I love it.
Can we bring life jackets to the supporters section?
I mean, water wings are just high ticket items.
They've also gotten pretty high tech. Talk about technology. The water wings at the pool, they're aggressive now, and I love it. They inflate by themselves. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen the new snorkel. I mean, I don't know how new they are. They're new to me. The masks that just have the straight up. And they're just kids in the deep end, just palling around underwater the whole time I'm at the pool. It's amazing.
Yes, it's the best.
All right, so you touched on this a little bit with America's Pastime and baseball, and then also talking about all of the events coming up for American soccer. We just had the Club World Cup, the Gold Cup next year. We'll have the Men's World Cup. We've got the Summer Olympics, the Women's World Cup in 2031, potentially the Gay Games in Denver in 2030. If there was ever an opportunity, it seems like now is the time to develop the world's game into an American pastime.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
That's a great question, and I'm open to feedback. I think one of the things that we need to really lean into is the epicness and the natural spike that's going to happen with Men's World Cup. And Women's World Cup is going to be exciting too. But with Men's World Cup happening first, there is going to be a lot of influx of Europeans and internationals coming to America, and that is going to generate natural interest in soccer for Americans, domestic Americans, and we need to ride that train. And it's not just riding that train for the month and a half that FIFA's here. It is figuring out how to sustain that excitement and that passion and that love for the beautiful game. I love that phrase. I've learned that recently. For the beautiful, because it is beautiful. For the beautiful game, and then specifically for the Rapids, we need to figure out how to do that. And we're putting a lot of brain power into planning and just how we're going to activate in our market as a non-host market over the next few months, and really start mapping that out and planning and working with our partners, working with community leaders, our current ones and new ones, hopefully, to make sure that we have representation across all of the different segments of the Denver market that make Denver, Denver, because we have a very unique personality, and I love that. I think that's really important. Youth soccer is so important. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, but I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, this is a feeling, but I also think it's a little bit of a fact. Every kid in America plays soccer. Like, everyone is involved in soccer at some point. Everyone knows somebody or was involved. But there's this crazy drop off after 14, where like the parents who have gone to all of the tournaments, and that is a lot of time, and all the kids who are participating in those tournaments just drop off and they filter into one of the other major sports. And so there's this gap that's happening between 14 and 21 right now that we need to recapture and just like continue building on that momentum. So whether it's engagement in the community or making sure we're bringing them out and providing opportunities to engage with our team here at the park, that is, I think, where we're missing and where we need to start investing more of our time in resourcing.
I think you're spot on. I don't think you're incorrect about that. I will get on my soapbox and say that 14 to 21 drop off does seem to correspond a lot with the over commodification of soccer and the high price barriers to continue on once you get into the 14 to 21. Yeah. Which, I will point out our soccer nonprofit Bangarang, we're going to try and alleviate that a little bit in the Denver market. So just name drop there. But I think you're nailing it.
Like Hook, I love that movie.
Exactly.
I love that movie.
You must be like our generation. We latch on to that so much.
It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, a rally cry that means whatever you need it to mean in the moment. Yeah. But enough of that. Let's get back to Sarah's point.
For sure. Well, so just to quote a little bit out of your press release, when you were hired, it says she brings a proven track record of success with some of the most respected organizations in the industry, and her strategic mindset, commercial acumen, and data-driven approach will be invaluable as we reshape our commercial operations, which, is really high praise, and I think indicates how excited folks were for you to join the team. I think for a lot of folks, they don't know what your job is. Can you kind of break down like what are your roles and responsibilities? What does that look like for the average fan in the stands?
Yeah. So first, I'm going to say I'm business, not the soccer side, although I am starting to get clued into some of the technical side because the people here are wonderful and they want a one club mentality for an understanding across the business and the sport, and having understanding of the sport acumen makes you a better business person. So I'm not in charge of that. I'm involved, but I'm not in charge. So that is one disclaimer we need to make really clear. But to simplify it, my job is to make this experience awesome. So awesome that you want to come back again and again and again and bring a friend and bring a brother and bring a boyfriend and bring a girlfriend, bring whoever, bring people who come from out of town visiting, because guess what? Denver is a transit city and people are visiting all the time, and make this a staple for people coming, bringing friends, family, community, because the experience is awesome and the things around it are awesome and the energy is amazing, and that is my job. So whether it's on the experiential side, whether it's community, whether it's ticket sales, partnership sales, I'm blanking on some. Creative, I oversee all of those departments. And to be clear, I'm not doing all of those things. We have amazing people here who do all of that. My job is to help direct them so that we're all rowing in the same direction and we're fighting for a common goal and making an amazing experience for our fans and growing our fans and growing our fan base. So that's
Yeah,
my job.
for those of you listening or that maybe can't see, just off camera in Haley's view is approximately 96 different hats that she wears, even though she's not taking responsibility for all of them right now. Yeah. I think you do quite a lot, and you did kind of delineate that you're not on the sporting side. So I'm going to eliminate all of my who are we bringing in the transfer window questions. But also from that same presser quote, the line, "We're confident she'll make an immediate and lasting impact across the club." What will we see immediately that we can excitedly say, "Oh yeah, Haley's cooking"? And what far down the river would you like us to see as your lasting impact?
Oh, I love that phrase, Haley's cooking. God, I hope that's said often. So I really hope it's not a Haley has done that, because again, we have great people here and we've had great people here for a long time, which is amazing because there's a lot of passion on the front office side as well as on the fan side. And so I think it's more of aligning what we're doing and setting what the commercial goals are. So I think that is going to be really clear. Like if we have a new value statement, or when you see us investing in the community in a different way or showing up in different ways, if there are massive investments made, or some, we don't have to say massive, if there are some noticeable investments made in our game day experience, like that's where I'm really focused. I want to be focused on creating an awesome experience, so fun that you want to bring people back. So whether it's our presentation or just how we present around the ballpark, or I keep saying ballpark, sorry. I'm still month 1 of soccer, guys. Forgive me.
The
Around the
pitch.
field. Thank you.
It's still a ballpark. It's a soccer ball.
Soccer ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to use that when I mess up in the future, because it will happen. I think those are the impacts that you're going to see, where I'm really pushing our team to get creative and to get out of our comfort zone that we've been in for so long. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit, whether it's retail or F&B, how we present, how we make ticket packages more comfortable for the market or more flexible for the market. I think that's where you're going to see that impact. But from a lasting impact, guys, our staff is amazing and they need more visibility and more support. And I hope that the excitement that we bring to the front office and the energy that we kick back up permeates into the game day experience. That's what I hope the lasting impact is if we're not, which we are having fun, but if we're not having the most fun, like how can anybody else have the most fun? So I hope that is the lasting impact.
Just to put you on the spot real quick, because I've seen firsthand how much the front office staff does with what they're given.
Yeah.
With your entry point into the organization, do you see yourself being able to conduit more investment from KSC into the organization?
I hope so. I think there have been some really clear indicators from KSE that this is a new KSE and this is a new Rapids, to be really clear. I think my hire is exemplary of that fact. I'm not from KSE and I'm not from soccer. I'm not even MLS. I'm not from soccer and I'm not from KSE. I'm from baseball, and I'm younger and I'm different and I think differently, and I'm not a traditional CBO hire. I'm a total nerd, everybody. I come from a strategy analytics background. I'm spreadsheet wizard, but strategy is where I sit, and the creative energy between making fun experiences and pulling it from the data and the numbers and the fan input is where I sit and lie. And so I hope so. I think so, especially with World Cup coming next year and our 30th anniversary. Even if World Cup wasn't coming, the 30th anniversary is a staple standpole year. And also having World Cup here, there's going to need to be investment made in the team, in our experiences, to capitalize on the fun that's going to happen in America. So I hope so. And I really think that my hire is proof of a change in mindset when it comes to investment.
Well, and I think the investment question leads really well into our next question, which is, you're coming into town, and this coincides with the beginning of Denver's own NWSL team.
Yeah.
How much is that going to inform your efforts in the men's league, and where do you see the new team among the spectrum of like market collaborators and market competitors, right?
Okay, I gotta tell you, there's no one more excited than me. So I love NWSL. I went to a bunch of Seattle Reign games when I lived in Seattle, so big fan. I'm also an elite female athlete, or I was. Now I'm a swimmer. That's what we call it. No longer swimmer. But so I love women.
Swammer. That's
Swimmer. You
good.
can quote me.
I've
That's
never
pretty
heard
niche.
that.
Niche jargon. Yes, I am a swimmer. I did swim, but as a female athlete, like, oh man, yes, like let's go female sports. Let's go women's sports. So in terms of excitement, there's no one more excited than me. We work so closely with a lot of the people and a lot of the founders on that side. So I would definitely say collaborators versus competition. I mean, yes, there's argument to be made of share of wallet, and if there's two soccer teams, same season, where are you going? Yeah, sure, for sure. But I think more than that, they're just bringing a different spotlight to soccer for Colorado. And I think one of the things that the Rapids have done a really great job of with the resources they have and in general is investment in developing talent in the state. They do a really good job of providing access to soccer, not just for men, but also for women. The Cronkies also invest for Arsenal, Women's Arsenal. Like they have an investment in women's sports as well. So there's a vested interest in growing the game, regardless of the gender. There's no one more excited than me. I can't wait. They have a lot of great, smart people. We're going to bring spotlights of soccer to Colorado together. We're going to grow together. We're going to try some things together. And so absolutely collaborator, and I'm pumped.
Well, we're going to be needing to sign some players for that team here in Denver. So I hope you scouted some Reign players, maybe established some contacts you can send over to like Jordan and Rob and all of them over at Summit FC. Go ahead.
And Lindsay, for sure. I met her at All-Star last week. She's great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just to stay on Summit FC for a moment, a hallmark of their bid and branding and ethos has been Denver. How will the Colorado Rapids, under your watch, bridge the seemingly worlds away Commerce City and the attention economy's trend towards out of sight, out of mind to stay in the conversation once the women kick off next year?
I tell you, that's my favorite question. Thank you for asking. I've gotten it a lot around, because Colorado Rapids, like we are one of, I think, 3 MLS teams that have the state as the moniker and not the city. And
Ooh,
I love
this
that.
is a fun game.
Don't
tell me the answer. I'm going to think it up before you're done.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Yes. And just yell them out as I'm talking. We're not waiting to
just interrupt whenever. No.
Yeah. So I love this question. I think I love that they went with Denver. I think it's really important, especially for their location. We are obviously not in Denver, but we serve more than the city. We serve the state. Colorado, and actually kind of the tangential areas as well. There's some parts of Wyoming, there's some parts of South Dakota, there's some parts of Utah that we touch and we engage with, and we serve that community. We want to grow soccer, men's and women's, for the whole state and our tangential communities. So we need to represent that, and that's more than just a city. And not to say that we don't care about Denver. I live in Denver. Like, I care about Denver. I live downtown. So we care about Denver, but we also care about like the growth of the adjacent communities and a lot of the youth soccer that happens outside of Denver as well. So I think that's really important. When you think about out of sight, out of mind, again, to what we talked about in the beginning, my job is to make it less out of sight and less out of mind, whether it's from a placement media standpoint or partnerships that make us available downtown. We're doing a lot of work with the Skyline pitch that's downtown. So we're trying to do a lot of things to be relevant downtown while also being a community that is invested here in Commerce City and continuing to grow investment in the rest of Colorado as well.
I love that you talked about the regionality, just because you were talking about being a data nerd. Do you have, like, on the back end, kind of like a geo map of your regional touch points of people that come to the stadium?
Yeah, so the ones that come to the stadium, it's funny. I literally asked our head of ticketing for us to do a zip code analysis and a heat map yesterday, because we did the exercise a while ago, but we haven't done it in the last few years. So it's underway. In terms of our addressable market, we do have a heat map in terms of where we engage. There's also a heat map in terms of where we get domestic players from. And Colorado generates a lot of great domestic players right now. Unfortunately, a lot of them go internationally, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to keep them here and it's going to be great. But so yes, we do have that from a player standpoint and like how we're developing talent, but also from the business side, yes.
Just again, to put you on the spot with that that heat map. I know with Commerce City being there, what other like cities have you noticed that the Rapids are really like Denver metro cities and neighborhoods that the Rapids are really kind of drawing from and stamping themselves in?
Yeah, so downtown is big. Just around here, like around Commerce City, and a lot of the communities here come, obviously, because they're within a 5-mile radius. But from some of the farther ones, Boulder and Fort Collins are two markets that over-indexed as well. And we need to dive into some of the more recent data because this is looking at historical stuff from a few years ago, and things change year to year. Seasonality, but those are some of the bigger communities that send over our fans.
Since you mentioned Boulder, there was talk at one point about Rapids 2 maybe playing in a non-Denver locale. Have you seen or discussed any of that?
So there's a company that works with a bunch of MLS teamers, trying to work with a lot of MLS teams to contract their secondary teams and separate it from what is the main logo and the main team. We haven't had conversations around that yet. Nothing's off the board, but I think the thing that's most important to us is that Rapids 2 and in our academy feel like they're part of the team. And so again, there's consideration from a marketing standpoint and from a business standpoint, like what makes the most sense financially. But then there's also the developmental piece and the mental health of the players that needs to be considered. And so we're definitely weighing all of those as we're making decisions for optionality in the future.
Oh man, I love that mental health component that you pointed out.
We
That's
care
so
about it.
refreshing to hear.
Yeah, well, I gotta tell you, I think one of the things that we need to do a better job at the Rapids of is broadcasting what we care about, because even before I got here, I learned that mental health is a standard for the entire organization, not just the front office and how we treat our staff, but also how the players are taught. We have one of the largest safeguarding teams in the entire MLS, like from a staffing standpoint, and they care about academy development, and mental health is at the forefront of that. From an investment in the community, working with our Special Olympics team and what we've done for all of our secondary teams, there's a lot the Rapids do that sits behind the scenes, and mental health is at the forefront of that. So thank you. It's a key piece for the Rapids.
I think our New Day kit, our mental health kit, is still the best-selling Rapids kit in history, or in Rapids history at least. Yeah.
Our OG green like almost beat it. It was real close. It was real close. But New Day was beautiful. Oh my God, It's so pretty. Before my time. Jordan crushes it with the kit launches. He's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Definitely one of our favorite conversations. We've loved talking to Jordan too, and seeing this original kit come out. It's fun. The original
it's
green.
really fun.
Okay, I think I've got them just because I know that's not the game you all were playing, but it's the game I was playing. So here's what I came up with: Colorado, Minnesota, and then the last one I would assume is New York Red Bulls.
Nope.
No.
New England. You have New
England.
England.
So I wrote
here.
New England down, but New England is not a state.
But it's like the region.
Yeah.
It's like the region.
Okay, so wait, why doesn't New York Red Bulls count?
It's like New York City.
But there's New York's NYCFC. Does New York Red Bulls even play?
No.
Are they
I
in
mean,
Jersey?
technically they're the Harrison, New Jersey Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had New England written down as my next guess. I feel pretty proud of that.
Sarah, to cycle back to our earlier question, if we came out with like a Commerce City Rapids jersey, that would be so fire.
It would be so good.
Own
Should
it.
that be our warm-up kit, or like optional warm-up kit?
Yeah, like
for next year. Yes.
Should it be the color of like the polluted plat, and it'll be like Suncor
No,
branded?
It's gonna have a prairie dog. Yeah.
Yes.
We have an ongoing joke, Kaylee, in our podcast that if the Rapids do well or don't do well, it's because we did not provide the proper offering to the prairie dogs. So Matt has multiple times gone and sent offerings to the prairie dogs at the largest prairie dog hole he can find.
Amazing. That's like very Icelandic. They have like the ferries. That's amazing. We should do that.
We have prairie dogs.
Be part of our march to the stadium.
Exactly.
Prairie dogs. Oh my God, I love it. Yes.
And I will say, from a results-based standpoint, they respond most to cash, nerds, gummy clusters, and just listening to them. They just want to be heard. Yeah.
Cold hard cash. Oh my God, I love it.
I left a credit card once. We lost.
I can confirm that I also respond well to those three things. So if anyone ever wants to get on my good side, cash and nerd clusters especially.
Mm.
Well, we've kind of lightened up the conversation, and to continue in that vein, what is like one of your most memorable or cherished sports fan experiences?
I can only choose one. Oh my God.
We
I don't
have
even
time.
know. Most cherished. There's so many. Like I remember when I lived in Philly until I was in fourth grade, and that's when I moved to Atlanta. And so I remember the last game that was played in why am I blanking on what it was called? Um, the old Philly Stadium. It starts with a V. I'm totally blanking on what it was called. So I remember that, and that was like memorable. And I literally packed up our car and we moved. But also the 2021 World Series was Braves versus Astros, and I'm not an Astros fan. I'm just gonna come out publicly and say it. Sorry, Astros friends.
I'll go bang on a trash can real quick.
Yes. Well, I was working at the Yankees then, so like I should have gotten a ring, and I'm still pretty upset about it. But being a Braves fan, like growing up as a Braves fan, and it being Astros, and Braves hadn't won in a long time. Having them win, that was incredible. So I went to a World Series game 4. They won. It was amazing. It was so awesome that the next day I showed up and I was supposed to leave, and I showed up on the Battery campus and got one margarita deep, and I was like, "We're staying. Change the flight." And then they lost. It's fine. But then they won the next game, so it was okay. So that was pretty amazing as well. And then I'd say probably, I'm sorry, I'm giving you 3 now. My first, so I grew up being a Barca fan. So my first Barca game, that was really cool in the Coliseum. That was really fun. So probably those.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a great jumping off point for. We've talked a little bit about the Commerce City being far away, the lack of transit, some of the
Yeah.
destination amenities. Also, another big one is the ability to predict and shelter from the Commerce City weather, which I will point out. This is not a paid plug. Rapids app has been huge this season on weather updates. That is a very welcome thing. But those sorts of creature comforts, as you've talked about some of the stadiums you've been to, what do you see the Rapids being able to do in kind of the near and middle terms to create more amenities and creature comforts?
So I'm gonna say right now, nothing's off the table. And that stands for like what our plans are, how we're structured, what we're doing, what we're investing in, what our staff is focused on. There is nothing off the table. It is full blue sky in terms of how we approach the Rapids and Victory Crossing project. Nothing is off the table. We are in initial phases for thinking through like how to monetize and structure a community that's meaningful for this area. So that is on the table. We're in discussions in terms of where we see opportunity and what this community needs, but nothing is off the table there. So from the creature comforts, the experiential, the needs of this community is really important. The exporting goods is really important. The actual investment in the park itself, that is important. So all of those conversations are happening right now. And again, month 1 as of today. So still new to some of these conversations and still starting up some of these conversations.
And so month 1, you get full scapegoat, plausible deniability if you don't know or can't comment. Do
Sure.
you see the Rapids playing at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in, I think, 7 years at this point, past 2032?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, well, so plausible deniability, 100%. But also, I don't know. It kind of depends on what our long-term strategy is, and that is the KSC dictated strategy that Kevin Demoff and Mike Neary need to sit down and think from a real estate standpoint and a fan development standpoint in Denver, what is gonna be the most meaningful for the city, and also for KSC in general. The leadership is new between Mike and Kevin. I mean, Kevin, neither of them are new to KSC, but they are both new to their roles and visionaries in their own right. And they're both full of energy and excited for this new transition of KSC. And we've seen that, and we've seen some of the things that they've done at the team level. I mean, again, we talked about me, but also just like in the assets that came even before I started with the Rapids. We got Qit on board. Like there is some excitement that is starting to gain momentum and traction, and nothing is off the table. Like
Well,
I
we'll
said,
just go on. We'll go on record as saying we're Team Haley, and so we want Haley dictated things to happen. You're a ride or die now. After you said what was it? It might get weird. Yeah,
it might get weird. Let's
yeah.
get weird.
And you're officially on the planning committee for the pool party. So
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
welcome.
can I be chair? I would like to be, and I'd like a floaty chair. Like,
Okay, okay. I was
The
gonna
floaty
ask you,
chair
do
of
you
the
want a
planning committee.
lifeguard chair or like okay?
Ooh,
yeah.
Rapid
Yeah.
Man. Come on. Think of the photos of Rapid Man in a lifeguard chair.
oh,
Y'all
I
should
love
fund
it.
this.
But,
Just
like-
write the check now, Haley.
But also,
It's
like,
gonna
maybe
be
some of
great.
our, like, old school mascots as well. Like, get the buffalo, the raccoon. Like,
Does an eagle do well in water?
Yeah, they just like
whatever.
scoop in and save. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, there
What
we
is
go.
a Rapid Man?
What is
It
the
is the
rap? No
water?
one knows.
It's anthropomorphic water.
So
Love it.
Rapid Man is the pool.
Oh my God, now
Yeah.
we're getting really meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
gonna.
Well, to move us back to a relatively like serious conversation, I think there's been some perception or feedback around the Rapids really catering to a suburban middle to upper middle class white family fan base. And we know head coach Chris Armas, I think this is kind of particularly in our attention right now with the Leagues Cup and playing the Liga Maxi teams. And so,
Yeah, last night.
you know,
Watching?
yeah,
This is my
Coach
favorite.
Armas said, our Latino community and the Mexican community who came out to support Santos, they added so much to what the game was. Big shout out to our fans that showed up. It's also just a fan base, and Santos fans show up, real support for the team. I thought it was a great atmosphere and both had a lot to cheer for their team. We always say we hope to just get more in our community supporting. So I guess my question is like, what do you think organizationally we can do, short term, long term, to really bring this team to our diverse, innumerable communities in the area?
Yeah, the Colorado community is one of the most distinct communities, I would say, in the United States. Like, if you ask somebody what a Seattle community or what a Philly community, I mean, maybe those are good examples too, but also I live there, so I know. But people know what the Denver and the Colorado ethos is and how diverse it is, from not just the people it serves, but the way that we are. We're all a little bit different, and we, as the Rapids, need to figure out how to permeate into some of those communities in a more meaningful and authentic way. And I'm just going to call it out. The Hispanic group here in Colorado is one, growing in affluence. It's one of the fastest growing demographics in the United States, but Colorado also specifically, in terms of not just affluence, but also their interest in entertainment and just like their growth in general. We need to figure out a better way to engage with community leaders and show up for them in their community versus asking for them to come up and show up here. I think that is something that we need to be more intentional about. I think showing support of that community is really important, and other communities as well. And being a voice and advocate for that. I think there's a lot of ways that we as the Rapids need to think strategically about how we go out into the community. Caitlin Kinzer is our head of community, and she's wonderful, and her team crushes it. We have so many street teams that I've met here, and they go out and they crush, and Fern has crushed for us as well. We need to resource them appropriately so that they can do more and be more for those communities.
Well, I think we're probably done grilling you, so we'll just move back to lighter fare. Just because we really
Go
like
away. This is fun,
Yeah.
girl.
Okay. All right. No. We could do this. We could actually grill you. I have an old tweet from you on March
God.
8th of 2013, 4:28 p.m. You were showing a picture of what looks like a dormitory washing machine completely overcome with soap suds. And you said, I guess that's one way to do it. Hashtag it's second semester. Hashtag learn how to do laundry. Walk us through that, Haley.
Okay, so my boyfriend is gonna love that you just freaking called that out. First of all, I think I had Twitter for 3.5 seconds, which is amazing that you found that. I don't even know how to log in. Don't even have one. That's hilarious. But he makes fun of me because I am just like so bad at doing laundry, and always have been. Like, we were distanced for a year when I moved to Seattle, and he came and he pulled out the lint He was like, Haley, have you changed this once? And I was like, oh no, should I? Oh, guys, it's not good. It's not good. You know, I'm gonna blame it on like the rigorous academic requirements of Virginia, and I just forgot how much soap goes in a laundry. There
Yeah,
it is.
you could say you were very
It goes deeper than
cavalier
that.
about your detergent. Yeah.
The worst
Amazing.
and
That was
best,
incredible. That was
the worst
incredible.
and best part of this is that Matt is now gonna have to put that picture on socials.
Oh
to
yeah,
explain
it'll
this.
be in post. You'll get to
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna become like
Love it.
late night talk show style. Like explain this tweet.
Explain this tweet. I love it.
You know, it's
Yeah,
a good
and that-
sign when we went back to 2013 and that's the most damning thing he found on you.
And then wait. To continue to grill you,
I
you
love it.
said swammer, but if I'm correct, because I'm from Maryland, if you're representing Philly, wouldn't you pronounce it more like swummer?
Swummer, but I mean Atlanta too. Like, so my accent is
Okay.
0. You know, like words come out. I say pink weird. I say y'all, but that's like very normal. I
Yeah.
think that's been normalized in America. There's some weird ones I say. I get grilled by my family sometimes by the words I choose to say from either parts of the East Coast. It's pretty
Are
good.
you a pop or a soda?
I'm a Coke. Is
Coke,
that
yeah, from
Ooh,
Atlanta.
the
Come
South,
on.
the South,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I grew
actually
up
recently
pop
got a
here,
side table
and then
that was a
when-
Coca-Cola, and it's amazing. But anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, I grew up pop here and then went to school in the East Coast. And they all said soda, and I picked that up, and I get mocked a little bit.
You say pop here. Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
I didn't know.
Wait, they
Oh.
do? I think you're making that up.
Go back to
Okay.
Maryland, kid.
Go
Okay.
back
I know my
to
hometown.
Maryland. You could say.
The,
You could say.
the ocean is calling. All right, but let's. I like this. We're talking more about kind of you outside of the position. So, what's a day outside of the office look like for you? Like, what are you doing, eating, listening to, reading, watching? What are your hobbies now outside of swimming?
Okay, well, right now there's no hobbies because we're trying to figure out how to get the Rapids to be the best. So right now, 0 hobbies. But like probably in like 3 to 4 months once planning's done, I'm a big outdoors person. I'm not a camper, but I'm a hiker. So enter. Denver's amazing to live in. So I'm a big outdoors girl. I listen to everything. I love all types of music. I can't wait to go to a concert at Red Rocks. I have not done that yet, and I cannot wait. I've hiked around it, but I have not been for a concert. So that's gonna happen, for sure. I'm currently watching. What am I watching? I'm more of a movie girl. So like, I just went to been like a TV show person. I love going to the movie theaters. I'm like learning all the different movie theaters. But I just went to Jurassic Park, the new one. I thought it was pretty solid. I also saw Superman. We did a double feature.
Nice.
Superman was good too. But I am like, I love to be outside. I love the sun. I don't love driving, so like I love walking around, and I call them my urban hikes, just to like learn the areas around where I'm living now. I'm eating everything except for cheese because lactose intolerance over here. But what did I try recently? I went to Linger. Love that place.
Nice.
That place is awesome. That place is amazing. But literally everything. Little Man ice cream, it's also so good. But eating and all the stuff, the sweet tooth. I have the biggest sweet tooth. It's like why I exercise as much as I do because I have to. But yes, all of the stuff.
All right, what, not to throw shade on Little Man, but go check out High Point Creamery. They have one on Tennyson and I think down by Wash Park now. Their ice cream is amazing. Their Earl Grey and shortbread cookie ice cream. I know it might sound a little weird, but just so good. So
Just add
good.
it to the list in real
Yeah.
time.
And if you listen
I'm
to
a sweet
everything,
action girly. You have to go
Oh.
to Sweet Action on South Broadway.
Heat action.
I'm going to seem super weird now because I'm going to call out a Sweet Action ice cream they used to make. Their green tea ice cream was like the most refreshing summer thing you could ever have.
Love that.
Right there on Broadway, like the just sitting in the open garage door window, people watching.
Ugh, amazing. I can't wait. That's it. I'm all added to the list.
Yeah, and then check
We'll
out
bring him
Levitt.
to the. I was gonna say we'll bring him to the pool party. We'll have
Yeah.
We'll have the ice cream at the pool party.
Yes, it's like a food truck, but ice cream truck. I guess they have those already, but whatever. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that.
Another one to check out. You and the boyfriend check out Levitt Pavilion. They're in Ruby Hill Park, kind of right off like Florida and Santa Fe, so not far from where you live. They do free shows throughout the summer. You can take in your own picnics, watch concerts. If like me, I'm going to take the dogs tonight so you can sit outside the fence with the dogs and still watch and hear everything. And you get a beautiful sunset view of downtown Denver, kind of crossing Wash Park.
Oh, I love that. You mentioned
Yeah.
dogs. I don't have a dog yet.
Yeah, I think.
I might plant babies though.
Do you have a Colorado license yet? Because once you get that, I think they just give you the dog for free.
Next Tuesday. So maybe I get a dog
So
on
on
Tuesday.
Tuesday you'll be handed a dog. And...
Yes.
Sarah, you want to end us up?
Well, yeah. So, is there something that like tangible or intangible that historically has helped you call somewhere and maybe might help you call Colorado home?
Oh, I love that question. I'd probably say like family is the thing that like makes something feel like home. And luckily I've been able to make home wherever I go by finding friends that are like family. But now having real family here in Colorado is the best. I guess also being able to walk out of your door and like know which direction is north and like what's down that direction. That has not come and it will not come easily. I'm directionally impaired. It's going to be fine, guys.
Haley,
The
you
mountains,
have
though.
mountains. You have
You have
mountains.
mountains now.
Just look for the mountains in the north.
I need to do that. That's going to be helpful. Thank you.
Literally
guys.
in school, that's how we're taught. We weren't taught like the sun sets in the mountains are to the west. Yeah.
Cool. Love it. Okay, that's going to be super helpful. So I'd probably say those things. Just like being able to go on a walk with my grandma through Confluence Park, like being able to show up to, I have a little brother who's 19 years younger than me, who is in high school right now in downtown Denver, just like being able to pop over and hang out with him. Like that is what's going to make this home and finding the rest of the community that like I call my people. I can't wait. Still building, meeting new people this weekend. It's going to be great.
Nice. Well, if you couldn't tell from just our zeal in the interview or our communications with Gabby, we are very excited for your hire, for you personally. I think this is just a really great event for the Rapids, bringing you on board. So anything you ever need, whether it's recommendations for ice cream, don't hesitate to reach out.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. It was awesome meeting y'all. See,
Oh,
there's
great
the
to meet
y'all.
you.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Love it.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you taking time out of the day.
Thank you guys, of course. All right, happy weekend. Happy Friday.
You as well.
Happy Friday.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye. Again, just reiterating, so impressed with Haley. If you see her around the Rapids Stadium at any of the forthcoming games, super approachable, super friendly, much like all of the front office. Go say hello, give her your ideas. She wants to get weird with it, and I think that's a vibe Colorado is especially primed for.
We do have 2 games this week. One Leagues Cup, one not. So we're back into MLS action this weekend. We play Cruz Azul on Thursday. It is away. They are currently sitting 5th in Liga with 2 draws and a win. Leagues Cup, they're sitting in 14th in the tournament on the Liga side. And they are essentially eliminated. Got destroyed by the Sounders 7-0 in their first game. And then a 1-1 draw that they won in PKs. They need even more luck than the Rapids to make it. They not only would they have to have
I don't think there's any way possible.
I haven't looked at the numbers, but like even if there was a way possible, that goal differential of dropping 7 goals in your first game, I'm sorry, that's a hard thing to make up in 3 games. Like they're essentially eliminated. So we might just see a team coming out with their bench and not caring at all. Just to like reserve themselves because they're actually early on in their season comparatively. So we can hope for that. The Rapids, on the other hand, are sitting 10th on the MLS side in the Cup. We obviously won 2-1 over Santos and a 2-1 loss to Tijuana. We are most likely eliminated. We have a shot, need a lot of luck. Like, we don't control our destiny at all here. We've not only got to win by a few goals to get the goal differential, but we also have to have teams essentially not win or draw at all above us, and that because we are the top team that has a loss. So everybody above us has 6 of those teams have to lose, and we have to make up that goal differential to make it. So that's just a hard ask a little bit. So it's possible, but it's a lot. We're asking a lot.
I mean, first, Monk, I was thinking originally we would title this episode Lordy Djordje. But after everything you said, I think I'm going to pull your quote of "I didn't look at the numbers" and make that the episode title. Yeah, no. First off, man, Seattle, you really did us dirty. Or I guess Cruz Azul did us dirty, spotting Seattle a 7-goal differential lead in a 4-team race. Like, come on, guys. But Monk, like you said, Cruz Azul can't make it into the knockout rounds. So it'll be curious to see what they run out on Thursday. They are, I believe, 3 games into their Apertura season. Haven't fared well in Leagues Cup. So I could see this falling either way of them wanting to reestablish that they are one of the best teams in the hemisphere, or them saying, let's focus on our actual season and give some playing time to the kids. But I mean, it's Cruz Azul, so even their kids are really, really good. I think the Rapids are going to go hard on this one. From every vibe I got in the clubhouse, the guys have something to prove, and they're viewing the Tijuana game as an aberration rather than the norm. So I think they're going to come out hard for whatever lineup that Cruz Azul puts forth, and I think they learned a lot from the Tijuana match about what they're going to do if Tijuana just tries to park the bus on them, which has been a somewhat successful recipe against the Rapids this season. But each time that's happened, we've seen them grow a little bit, gain another inch in the margins that Chris likes to talk about, and force those coincidences. I think the most Rapids thing that could happen is that the Rapids come out and dominate this game, and the out-of-town scoreboard doesn't fall our way, and we don't make it into the 4. Which, not a fan of that scenario.
This is remember when I talked on our last episode about how I love this setup because we get to see more of MLS versus Liga in the first phase.
Yeah.
It's also going to point out the factor that the Cruz Azul is sitting essentially eliminated, if not eliminated, because we don't know for sure on that. But the fairity of this of this where you're playing the Sounders crushing you 7-0, right? And we got 2 games against 2 teams that are well below them in Liga according to the current standings, while they go up against the Sounders who just dunk on them. And I don't know. It's crazy how this tournament is going, and the factor that we're still capable is I don't know. I love it because it creates that tension. I love the rule set because it creates that tension, and we get to see Liga teams. But it is just crazy.
I mean, that's tournament soccer, baby. I don't think you could produce in this entire world someone who would have predicted that the Sounders come out and stomp Cruz Azul 7-0. I think pretty much every betting line was odds-on favorite Cruz Azul. Anything can happen, especially in CONCACAF games, especially in MLS versus Liga MX games, which is why I still think Rapids can come and punch Cruz Azul in the mouth. And just like we did Club America. Yeah, absolutely. No, this is dumb. I will not entertain this line of thinking. You tried to put this out there before. You win every game and beat every team that's in front of you.
Yeah. So if I'm looking at this, our shots are very minimal, right? And this is a team that's playing money ball. This is a team that everything's about those numbers, getting the smallest advantage you can get out of the littlest investment you can get. And to me, with a very small opportunity to get that 4th place spot, comparatively to holding that thin line that we have in a playoff spot right now, because we do have an MLS game this weekend. That's the only reason. If we didn't have a game this weekend that was actually MLS, I would say go for it. I question whether you should go for it now with such a... It's not in our hands, right? It's not like if we win this by 2 goals, 3 goals, we're in. Like, even if we do that, there's no guarantee we're top 4. Because it's not in our hands. Our future's not in our hands in the Leagues Cup. MLS, on the other hand, we're sitting in 9th place. We just lost Djordje, and we need every point we can get to hold that, to fend off what's below us, especially against a team like Minnesota, who's sitting 3rd in the West.
I mean, again, I'm not entertaining this. You play to win every game and beat every team in front of you, and every result and every micro win and loss within that result during the 95 minutes these guys are on the pitch compounds into the performance and culture of the team that goes into the next game. So say you want to do the layup, rest them against Cruz Azul so that we can punch harder against Minnesota. There's no guarantee that that means we're going into Minnesota as a better team. Being a fresher team doesn't always work out. We've seen that throughout sports. We've seen that throughout MLS and with the Rapids. And if you're talking about all the things you said with the loss of Djordje, feeling deflated, players searching for a spark for the rest of the season, throwing a game, a statement game, mind you, against one of the Gigantos in the Northern Hemisphere, like, that's just foolish. I don't think Chris would do that. I don't think any player on this team would do that. I don't know anyone in the front office that's strategizing that. I've always hated that. It's like the draft position conversation is, oh, why don't we just throw these games so we can get a higher draft position? And I feel like it's that sliding doors moment.
Well, the
of
MLS
like,
draft is meh.
we don't have to throw games to get a higher draft position in the MLS draft.
No,
we
do
just
that
trade for
ourselves.
entire team's draft. Yeah. See, we're playing 4D chess. It doesn't matter what position we end the season in because we're just going to get your draft pick anyway.
It's true.
No, but
I hope we come out against it. I just have to make the argument that there is some idea and logic behind resting a player or two with a 4-day break to go up against the 3rd best team in the Western Conference in a holding a playoff spot compared to a very big hope, dream, and wish that you get a 4th place slot. Now, if your argument isn't that we're going to make the 4th place slot and it's just best that we play every game just because it's good for players to play every game, that's a different argument. But like,
no, it's both.
To say
We're
playing it for that 4th place slot, get out of here. Like, the chances of that are that's just not like, it's possible, but very small.
no, we're playing for that 4th place spot. I believe we can get it. This would be the most Rapids thing. It's two sides of the same coin. The most Rapids thing would be for us to win and have the results not fall our way. The other most Rapids thing, because nothing makes sense, is that we win, we get in, and we win this damn thing. We're a momentum-based team, and we only need one game to start that momentum. So I'm going for this. Plus, they're doing this for me, Monk, because I got to tell you, when I said this is my favorite tournament of the whole season, it's because I play soccer with so many Mexican guys that love to have that conversation of Liga MX versus the MLS. And up until Tijuana, I've had a year's worth of bragging to just lord over them. Every time they try to do their, shifty ball flare and I just stand straight and go through them to dispossess them, I then cite, you just got hit by Zach Steffen and the Liga MX Grim Reapers. But we're playing for a team and a community, and personally for my ability to hold this over my Mexican friends during soccer. Plus, Minnesota is not going to throw us a curveball. We know who Minnesota is. We know their game plan. Their game plan is objectively our kryptonite. They play exactly the worst way for us to try to beat. That's not going to change. But what can change is the Rapids punching Cruz Azul in the mouth and then feeling invincible and then saying, fuck it, I don't care how Minnesota lines up. We've got belief in the power of friendship. Let's go get this one.
I hope for it. I hope for good soccer. That's honest. I'm still going to predict we beat Cruz Azul. We should. But most of our, like, it's hard to analyze this team at the moment. You lost a key piece. And so it is very much just like, I have no idea how we're going to look. Like, if anything, the last game we didn't look great. So, and that was our first game without Djordje, outside of some injuries or some short stints where he was rested or whatnot. But I think we still got a shot. I think there's definitely the opportunity there for us to get it. I don't think there's that big of an opportunity for us to actually make a run in that in the Leagues Cup. I hate to tell you.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance, but you're gambling that Miami sitting in third drops, and not only that, we have to make up they only have 1 goal differential, so we have to make up 1 goal, but they have to lose. You also have to have Minnesota lose, where we have to make up a 3-goal differential. Galaxy, who is sitting just below them, just outside of it, has to lose. We have to make up a 3-goal differential there.
Monk, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to piss off Broncos fans here and say, just win, baby. That's all that matters. Win what's in front of you and then focus on the next thing. That's your daily mantra.
Can you ask the Broncos how theirs doing as well?
Oh, no, we can ask Josh Atencio, who's apparently a huge Broncos fan. That was a fun development over this last week. Even though he grew up in Seattle, he went to Broncos training, and we found out he is a huge Broncos fan. Man.
Matt, this is why they don't want us
We
on
did.
the podcast together.
I will say,
we have like a 3-hour podcast.
When we had Clint Irwin is a huge Carolina Panthers fan. And I know we've got some Ravens fans in the locker room, so... no, all right. So depending on how Cruz Azul tries to set up, I think we stay wide. We basically take the game to them. Don't give them the respect they may think they've earned, and we just play spoiler, and then we run away from it. And then if Poreg wants to try and prevent Mateus Bogusz or Carlos Rodriguez from leaving Dick's Sporting Goods Park permanently, like, those are a couple Cruz Azul players I'd definitely be happy to pick up in the wake of this recent transfer rumor.
We have a second game that we still have to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Because of course, I hate this. This is the one thing I hate about, like, Leagues Cup and turnips in the middle of the season like this, is just like constant midweek games where we're playing like 2 games a week. But Minnesota on Sunday, we're away in Minnesota. They are, as I've said, third in the West with 44 points, 12-5-8 with a 6-3-3 at home. They are 42 goals for and 28 goals against. They're coming off leagues play with a 4-1 over a 10-man Querétaro? I probably mispronounced that. I meant to ask you that before the set, and I didn't, so it's fine.
I think we might be like the most mispronounced podcast, both in our name and how we pronounce everyone else's name.
I can't pronounce anything right when I have to read it.
I think it's
not even the fact that it's Spanish. I can't pronounce English words when you put them in the...
Monk, I think what you're looking for is head coach.
Head coach. I'm looking for a head coach. They also drew a 10-man Club America and then 1 in PKs. So both of their games, they went up a man. Now, I believe Club America was up at like the 82nd minute, but the other game they were up in like the 62nd minute, so they had a good amount of time, or maybe that was the reverse of those. I think it's the reverse. Their tie, they actually were up in the 62nd minute with a red card.
I didn't look at the numbers.
Yeah, I don't look at the numbers. That's not what I do. I'm a fan. I just spew whatever comes out of my heart. The Rapids are sitting in ninth with 30 points, 8, 11, and 6, and 2, 6, and 4 on the road. So we're not great on the road. They're good at home. They're also good on the road. They're just a good team. We have a goals for of 31 and a goals against of 39. So this is just going to be a tough one. We're on the road. Just lost Djordje. Coming off of a midweek, 2 back-to-back midweek, 2-game week. And they have a better defense than us. They have a better offense than us. And they're on home turf.
But
Can you
their
give me a
mascot is a
positive spin?
bird, and birds aren't real. So some positives. The Twin Cities are just absolutely wonderful. We're about to approach the time of year that traps people into moving to Minneapolis often. Almost happened to me. Biked around all of the lakes. The weather was pristine. Was like, I'm just going to move here, and then was told it's definitely a trap. That's why all the walkways extend between the buildings, because for the rest of the year, you don't want to go outside. No, but Minnesota is a team that I've really enjoyed this season. Again, they feel Rapids-like in that they've made really good bets on players that have paid off and become cohesive together, which just gives me hope for every team being able to have those magical seasons. Like I said earlier, think they are the exact blueprint for how to beat the Rapids. So this is going to be a really tough one. We saw a similar blueprint in Tijuana. Minnesota is not as big, so I don't think they'll be as impenetrable. But I do think we're going to take lessons learned on the width from Tijuana, and I think we're going to try and take it to them. I think Minnesota is going to be happy to sit back, and if we can just get that one goal, I think that's the cascading effect that tips this in our favor.
We're asking a lot. This is a lot. This is a team that's just going to have to live off of dreams in this game. There's not a logical statistical positive for us here.
I mean, we're a team that lives off of 300 days of sunshine and a fear of pissing Rapid Man off.
It doesn't matter because any given day, all right, any given team, we've got a shot here. Maybe they underestimate us. KDP and Cole just pop off, and they don't expect it, and that's a possibility, right? Maybe we dominate Cruz Azul, and we come into this off of like a 7-0 win, and we're coming in hot, and the team builds that confidence out of it, and just goes, hey, guess what? We don't need Djordje.
I mean, I'll never say we don't need Djordje. Djordje, I love you. Congratulations. No, but not just Teddy and Cole. I know we talked about them a lot with respect to the vacancy that Djordje will fill, but Hoffa is hot right now. Yappy is a game changer. I could easily see Reggie being a huge difference maker in this match. Maybe Sam or Jackson on the left. Like, if we're going to be coming in and kind of prying at their sides, I could totally see a ball from Reggie getting to Hoffa's head, or Sam putting a left-footed cross across the box, which Yappy comes in and slides through. Like, there are many routes for us to win this match if we click. We are, like you said, can't deny, without the straw that's been stirring the drink, but I think we're going to find that we have a couple other straws in this match. I don't know. I'm just high on hope.
Glad you brought up Yappy, because it's something that, if you look at the Tijuana game, he was in the green. A lot of people talk a lot about him and him being underwhelming, and he was the future hope of our strikers and our wingers at a young age, and hasn't performed. But he was the best performing player on our team.
Yep, he's that guy. Okay, this has all been like a pet peeve podcast. But since you talked about that, it pisses me off so much. We've seen Yappy since he was like 12 years old and 3 feet tall. And now he's 20 and 8 feet tall? And people have like Yappy fatigue. Like, this kid is so young. He's getting better every game, adding tools in his toolkit. He has a knack for game-changing goals. Like, I think we've been on the Yappy ship so long, people are worried that there's no destination when like this ride is so fun. And I think we've got something there. I think we've had something there, but like if you're sleeping on Yappy, or if you got tired of talking about Yappy, and boy, he is going to show you up.
So I think people forget how young he still is. That man's not like 25. That guy's 20 years old.
Yeah.
He can't even drink yet. This is a kid still playing. Yeah, has he put in as many goals as we were hoping, and especially from a spark that he was coming off of when we first started playing him? No. Like, I would agree we were hoping for more, but that's how being a Rapids fan is. We always have to hope for that. We live on hope. That's all we have, is to be a hopeful fan.
That's just sports, man. Unless you're a Yankees or like a Miami fan, you can't just like run on entitlement. You have to run on like hope and real human experiences.
I think that I still have a belief in him. I really did wish that he was just gonna like spark young and just crush it when he first started playing in the first team and getting first team minutes, and just get those goals. But he was always just off, just not enough. The ball wasn't quite going into the net for him. It took him a while to get his first goal. But like, still, he's 20 years old. Like, a lot of these players don't even start playing for us until they're 20. Like, this guy's got MLS experience for a few years now and is 20 years old. So there's still a lot of possibility out of him if you can use him correctly, I think, and especially with like mentorship. I think with people like Navajo, I think that's going to be very helpful for him.
No, I don't think it's using him correctly. I will stake a claim that Yappy is coming into an age where there will be no incorrect way to use him.
And then we'll sell him to Toronto next year.
God damn it. Can we at least spread it out? Like, we just gave one to Toronto, so it's got to be like Montreal. Can it be Vancouver? So that way when Vancouver hires me to come take a boat to work, I can still go root for my guy Darren Yappy.
Oh, man.
No, I mean, so what? Maybe that happens, and then the Canadian Championship is my new favorite soccer tournament. It's why I enjoyed watching Ligue so much last season, because they sent Moist there, and now it's my new favorite soccer league. Now I'll get Cheeto there. Oh, this was the point I forgot. Sorry, this has been such an unhinged, just processing podcast. The Cheeto move. The club did right by the player. This is a human being that came to the team and then didn't want to be away from his family. And the club said, we got you. How can we get you back to a place you want to be? You treat people well, and people are attracted to you and treat you well. This is a net win for the culture of the team. That's all. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I don't envy Smith trying to recruit people right now, though.
I do. Man.
I do not envy him. I'm sorry. Like, you're like, hey, we just lost our best player. Come play with us.
Or, hey, we just lost our best player because we picked him up after he was having a rough time in Europe, and he just secured the bag. Don't you want that too?
We could be your stepping stone too.
Hey, man, I'd take it. Done. I mean,
Look,
yeah.
I'm picking 2 wins anyway. I don't care. 2 wins. I'm gonna even say that Stefan shuts him out both games. I'm not gonna pick goal scorers. We don't have time for all that thought process, and I don't know the numbers.
I think we make them we bloody them up in their Cruz Rojo by the end of this match. I think we win that game 3-0. I think we get the shutout. It's a statement win. The cards fall our way, and we remain in this tournament.
Okay. What about Minnesota though?
I think I'm going back to my Charlotte experience of where I can't just like logically figure out the way this breaks our way. So I'm calling I'm going to do the team is solid, just like with Charlotte. I'm going to call a 2-0 loss so that we win.
Okay. Fattori says 1-1 draws for excitement. Good. Okay. I'm gonna say 2-0 with Cruz Azul. I think they're gonna underestimate us, and I think they're just gonna rest people because they're out of the tournament. Like,
I mean, I don't know the Mexican teams are like that. I think they still come hard.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna rest people, especially with how violent our games get. Look at how many red cards have happened in the League Cup.
Yeah, if you come at us, our coach will fight you. And you do not want to fight Chris Armas. Out there looking like a WWE wrestler after the Santos game. I would not try Chris Armas. Not a chance.
I'm going to say... Oh, damn. I'm not going to predict a loss. I am going to say a 1-0 win in Minnesota. I think our defense steps up. I think Stefan stands on his head, and we just find a way to get the one in. We go up against the odds, and we just find a way to do it. I think they underestimate us, and maybe we get an early goal, and then our defense just holds up. Nothing statistical backs that up, because that is not how it's ever gone for us.
We've reversed roles now.
It's not how it's ever gone for us. But I'm always going to be a homer. I'm going to talk a lot of crap. I'm going to tell you all of the things that I see and that I hear. But at the end of the day, I think this team has the ability to win. I think we have the talent to win. I think those players can and are capable of stepping up. They just need to. And that's where the flaw happens, is they just need to step up and consistently do that. And that's where has been our faults. I've seen talent in all of our players, even people like that people have been asking for, like Cabral being gone and getting rid of. Like, you saw moments of brilliance out of that player. It just wasn't consistent, and that's what we need. We need consistency out of these players and some really good talent that keeps consistent, and that's what Djordje brought. Djordje was consistently a good player when he was on the field. He consistently stepped up when he needed to, even when a lot of pressure was put on him, and a lot of players don't do that. And so hopefully we say KDP or Cole or
Slam Bassett, Sidney Wathuda.
Like, we see some of these other players step up, or Navajo. Like, Navajo's put us on his back quite a bit, but like, he just lost his partner, so maybe he comes out angry about that.
Oh, could you imagine we get like some like wild Brazilian attacking mid that like Rafa knows from back in the day? Yeah, just all frosted tips and flair. I'm down for it. No, but Djordje was consistent, and now someone will get consistent minutes to try to step up and become the new fan favorite. I'm excited for that. And Monk, I think we've gone through like is it 7 stages of grief? You particularly. You at the start of the show, to you predicting the win over me, like, this is wild, man.
But everybody don't. I'm always going to predict the win.
You look like a younger, more joyful man right now.
More
joyful
person.
Guys, if you're not watching the video of this show, like, Monk's basically glowing. There's a sparkle in his eyes.
I'm just.
You can see
so
hope
excited.
springs eternal.
It's and then they're gonna punch me in the gut, and I'm just prepared for it. I've been a Rapids fan since '96, so I'm just used to those punches. Eventually, your abs just build up, and you can just take them. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be critical. I'm always gonna be critical. But at the end of the day, I'm always gonna believe my team's gonna find a way, because there's no other reason to be a fan. If you don't believe your team is gonna find a way, it's time to walk away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, fans, you can do that. You can take a breather. You can open up some of the oxygen in the room to the people that are fresh to it, that want to bring a positive spin to it, bring a hopeful message, that believe in this team, this community, and the soccer culture of this city and state. If Monk can do it, you can do it.
We can do it. I believe. We've got this. We've got it. Go put your money down on the Rapids.
I think the only way we can end this, Monk, up the fucking pits.
Well, we still have to let people know about a band that plays and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll edit that out.
Monk,
Monk, where can people find you? Hold on. Pause. Pause. And Monk, where can people find you?
You can find me on Burgundy Sky at Monk of C38. You can usually find me behind the decks at the tailgate, hanging out on a podcast, in our Discords. Just come chat with us. I promise we only bite sometimes. Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me at Matthew Wick on Burgundy Sky. I'd encourage you to come find me and play some pickup soccer, get off the internet, and learn what the actual soccer people around the community care about and are talking about, and then come with me to the next game and just ride on belief.
Matt's our new number 10, by the way. You guys just don't know it.
I've been trying to be this team's left back for years now. You know what? Screw it. I'm the new number 10.
He's the new number 10. Who does our intro and outro music?
That's Don Chicharron, our always number one, except Zach Steffen is also our number one. But you're about to listen to the smooth tunes of Especial by Don Chicharron. They have a badass show at Manos Sagrados coming up later this month. We'll post links on socials. Get tickets. Come dance your pants off with us.
Up the fucking pits.
Up the fucking pits.
They don't need to do the numbers.
Tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese especial. Tú tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese